you're using a broker or not of getting the bait and switch. So this is when a landlord will show you a different apartment and say yours is going to look just like it. Most apartments in New York do not look just like it. So just make sure before you sign a lease, someone you trust, has seen the actual apartment you're going to be moving into. All right, and then here is our extensive list of required documents that you're going to need. Before you tour in July, you're going to want to email Vito from Financial Aid. He'll provide you a letter of enrollment from SUNY along with a loan statement letter. And then some additional documents. This list is super extensive, so if you're not able to get it, it should be fine. Most landlords don't ask for all of it, but again, it's just better to be safe than sorry. So you're going to need a photo ID, a letter of employment and salary verification, 2 most recent pay stubs, 2 most recent bank statements, last 2 years tax returns, and any contact information from previous landlords or any personal references. Most landlords in New York City are going to ask that you make 40 times rent. That's not usually able for most students, so you're going to want to use a guarantor. When you use a guarantor, that person needs to make 80 times your rent. You can use multiple guarantors if you need, and you're going to need this information for yourself and all the guarantors you use. So it is super extensive, but again, before you go look, it's better to be safe than sorry. I would also suggest having a digital copy of all this information. Personally, my apartment that I applied to, I just submitted it digitally, but it also is helpful to have a printout of everything too in case they want a paper copy. But I will pass it over to Vidi. She's going to talk a little bit about information for our international students.
Hi, everyone. So I'm from Toronto, Canada. Is there anyone in here who's from Canada at all? Okay, one person. Okay. So I'm going to be honest, it was really hard to kind of find people here who are willing to lease it out to people who are international. So my advice to you would be to find roommates that are like American or that have like a status of like the States. Because one of my roommate, it was Canadian, but the other one was from California. So she was able to kind of get a guarantor like under her dad's name, and that kind of worked out okay. So that would be my only thing that I want to kind of add on to here. But other than that, now it's time for the more exciting part, which is introducing our panelist over here. So if we can go ahead and introduce ourselves, I'm just going to pass it on to our first panelist.
Hi guys, my name is John Mestre. I'm a second year here at SUNY. I live in Astoria, Queens.
Hi again, everybody. I'm Millen. I live in the Upper West Side second year as well.
Hi, I'm Annabelle. I'm a second year and I live in the Upper East Side.
Hi, I'm Kendall. I'm a first year and I live in Murray Hill.
Hello, my name is Brooks. I'm also a first year and I live in East Village. Am I passing this back?
We can just keep it. Okay, thank you, everyone. So the first question is, what is your current living situation?
Okay, so like I said, I live in East Village on Ave A. I live in a 6-story walk-up, pretty brutal. And then I live with 2 other of my friends from undergrad from University of Maryland who work in like sales, so not SUNY students, which is good and bad. Should I go into like how much I pay for rent, or is that like, no? All right, I'll just pass it on.
So I live in Murray Hill. There's 3 of us, also 2 friends from college. And I live on the ground floor and the basement. So it's like 2 floors. But we do have like laundry in unit, which might be my favorite part, and 2 bathrooms.
I live in a 3-bed, 2-bath. The total rent is $51.50, but we split it up differently, like based on the bedroom sizes. I pay like $18.50 for my portion. And then it's also a 5th floor walk up, so I show you. But we also have laundry in unit, which is like my favorite part as well. And like it was newly renovated, which is also super nice.
So I live in the Upper West Side with my 2 roommates from college, like as well. Well, you have 2 roommates from SUNY. Yeah.
Oh, wait, yeah, I live with two other SUNY students and I found them through the housing questionnaire. So make sure you fill it out.
Yeah, I live with two friends from college. Our monthly rent collectively is 4,800. But they're like a couple, so they split one room. I pay 1,500, which is kind of nice. It is a 4-floor walk up, but it starts on the first floor, so a 3-floor walk up is what I like to think about it. No laundry, so I walk across the street. But we have a dishwasher, which I would choose a dishwasher over laundry every time.
Yeah, so I live in Astoria. I live with one other roommate. I think it said I used to live in Brooklyn. So I lived with two people that I knew growing up. And when we kind of were going our own ways after that. And so the housing questionnaire kind of helped me and paired me with this guy who is currently a fourth year. He's about to graduate. So I live with him. I live with one other person. My rent is 1,100, and the apartment is really spacious. Kind of what Anna was talking about. The further you kind of move from this area, the cheaper the rent will be, and you'll find that you'll get more space. I don't have laundry, but I live above a laundry, so it's basically laundry in house. I don't have a dishwasher, but I've been doing dishes my whole life, so that's not a big deal. And yeah, did I miss anything? I don't think so. My commute door to door can be like 26 minutes. So that's pretty good. And the line I live on is like I live off the yellow line, the N line. That's the next line. Oh, okay. I'll get into that later. But yeah, I rate Astoria highly. I know they're gonna talk about their neighborhoods, but Queens is where it's at. I'm just saying. It's cheap.
Perfect. Thank you. So the next question would be, describe your commute to SUNY and other areas.
Yeah, like I said, 25 minutes here. Um, I mean, it's a pretty ideal situation because I kind of like Astoria. It's quiet, it's like family oriented. It's not as loud as it is here. So when I come here, I get that fix of being in the city, but then I could come to Queens. It takes me, like I said, 25 minutes, and my family lives on Long Island, so I could take the Long Island Railroad from Queens out there. Yeah.
So I live all the way up on 91st and Broadway on the Upper West Side. And that sounds kind of far, but I live off the express train. So my door to door can be literally 15 minutes, which is amazing. It's 2 stops, one at 72nd Columbus Circle and then Times Square, and then just walk across. So that's lovely. I think the 2-3 train is the best train in the city. It comes every 2-3 minutes. Beats the queue where you have to go all the way under the ground and on the east side. 2-3 train is the best train in the city, I think. And it can take you all the way downtown and take you all the way to Brooklyn, which is nice. Other questions? Yeah, and I also use the Fair Fares program, so you guys should definitely sign up for that at half off on your subway, and it's really, really nice. Cool.
Again, I live in the Upper East Side, so I'm on 89th and 2nd, which is also like literally like right across from Millen, just on the other side of the park. I also live like 3 blocks from the Q, so that's super easy. It takes me about like 25-ish minutes to get to school. And I mean, there's like so many options. You could also take like the 456 through like Grand Central or like the Q by Times Square, or like even like transfer from like the F. You could do whatever if it's like raining or something like that. And then in terms of like being farther uptown, I definitely feel like on the weekends when I want to like meet up with my friends or something downtown, that can get a little bit annoying, but I really like living up there. It's like a nice, like peaceful, calm neighborhood. There's like a lot of like older people like walking their dogs. It's like nice to go back home to at the end of the night. And I also use Fairfares. You should definitely do that. Like 50% off is so good, especially because you're taking the subway like guaranteed at least twice a day. I honestly take it more if I have like other things to do.
So Murray Hill, I live in 36th and 3rd, so my walk to school is like 15 minutes. I love walking to school. I don't have to worry about the subway. In my area, like very like young people like our age, also feels pretty safe. Really easy to like take the 6 downtown if you do want to go out or back. But does feel like a very safe area. We have a Trader Joe's, so that's a big selling point. And yeah, what else? I think that's it.
So I live downtown on Ave and 8th, or like technically St. Mark's. So the opposite of all this. It's not very calm and quiet. It's very loud and upgoing, which again is good. Like I never take the subway when I'm going out at night, but I take the 4, 5, or 6 train from Astor Place up here. It's probably 25 minutes. Sometimes I city bike. I city bike home a lot from here just because it's nice out and like why not? I don't have fares, so I know I should probably get it. But when you tap your phone, it'll only charge you I think like $34 every week max, and I usually hit it by like Saturday. So it's and then you just ride for free after that for the rest of the week. Um, since I didn't mention it, I pay $18.50 for my rent. Um, yeah, I do love East Village. It's lively, sometimes like to a fault. The only Wegmans in Manhattan is down there. I don't know if anyone knows Wegmans, but it's like the greatest place on earth. Yeah, I love it. So that's where I food shop, and it's like a 4 Ave walk to Wegmans, and the train station's right there. So I just come home from school, go to Wegmans, then walk home with my Wegmans, get my arm workout too while I'm at it. Um, yeah, I just re-signed my lease, so I'll be living there next year. Don't be afraid to live downtown. It's a little bit more expensive, but you can find your way around. Just find someone that wants to pay more rent than you, so you just give them the bigger room and then pay less rent. And then, yeah, it's fine. I like it. I love it. That's all I have to say, I think.
Perfect. Thank you. I do want to add on that if you do apply to fair fares, I do recommend applying like closer to August and September because it does take about 4 to 6 weeks for them to kind of process everything. So if you're like looking to kind of come here and like have that thing on your hand, I would definitely get that process much like done much earlier. Sorry. So the next question is, what are some pros and cons of your current neighborhood?
So pros is that like everything's happening in downtown. And when anything's like people are going out, I never have to take the subway. I usually just walk, get to see all my friends a lot, which I guess kind of turns into a con sometimes. You gotta like flex the no muscle a lot. Like your friends want to go out, you have to say no a lot. Cons, it's a little bit more expensive. I live right on Tompkins Square Park, which is like beautiful. So it's nice to like see some trees and stuff. The subway don't ever be afraid of the subway. It takes like 3 days to figure out, and then it's the best thing ever. I'm trying to think other pros and cons. Oh yeah, the food is incredible down there. Again, you can like walk to like some world-class restaurants. Yeah, I mean, there's a million things to do in New York. That's kind of the problem. So I ride my bike a lot in Central Park, or I'll take it to Brooklyn and ride my bike. Eat, go out. I don't know. That's it, I guess.
So pros, 15-minute walk to school. Can't emphasize that enough. And Third Ave has like right by like Murray Hill, Kips Bay, a lot of good like bars, restaurants, like cute little places to go out. It's not like full like East Village, Lower East Side, but it's kind of like still a lot of good places. We were there last weekend. Cons, I would probably just say it's expensive because I pay $19.50. I don't think I said that. But my apartment is big. It is like pretty spacious because there's like 2 floors and 2 bathrooms. But I am on the ground floor and in the basement, so I don't really get any light in my room, but like there's light outside. So when I'm walking to school, I get it. So yeah, cons, yeah, just the price.
Okay. Pros. The Upper East Side. I mean, like you hear about in like Gossip Girl and like all those like TV shows. When I first moved to the Upper East Side, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like you're right by Central Park. I really got into running when I started optometry school. So like I run all the time in like Central Park or on like the East River. There's a lot of good shopping up there, obviously. You're on like Madison Ave. And really good restaurants. They have a lot of good Italian in the Upper East Side. I would just say like cons, basically the opposite of Brooks. I feel like I'm far from like all my undergrad friends, and like on the weekends it's like a 30-minute ordeal to get downtown. But I've honestly gotten used to it at this point. And I feel like it's worth it. Just like it's a really quiet neighborhood and it just feels like calm and like very safe, which my parents definitely wanted as well. Oh, I didn't say this. I have a super, like live-in super in my apartment. So there's like someone that's like kind of like a manager that lives in our apartment building, which is nice to have. Like that also like gave my parents peace of mind. And we also have like a virtual doorman situation, which is also good for safety. But yeah, the Upper East Side is very safe, very cute, nice neighborhood.
Okay, Upper West Side. Pros. It's the neighborhood where you'll see the most people walking their dogs. It's very safe and quiet. Riverside Park is beautiful. Central Park is right there. It's really beautiful. Um, I said the commute is fast if you live close to the express train, which is a 96 stop, or the 72nd, which is a little more pricey. Um, Apartment's a little smaller, but I took up that deal that Brooks was talking about, and I made my roommates pay for the bigger room. So it's nice that I can afford to live up there. And then of course, Upper West Side is known for so many restaurants. It's hard not to eat out all the time. Um, and yeah, super safe, super quiet. Very, very quiet. And I have the same cons as Annabelle. If I want to see anybody, they all live further south, and it's kind of hard. But again, 2-3 train, great. To every 2-3 minutes, and I'm down in Times Square, so I can meet them up. So cool.
All right. Astoria. They asked me this question last year about cons. I really can't say much, but what I will say in New York City, regardless if you're in, I'd say Astoria is probably the safest neighborhood out of all their neighborhoods. But with that in mind, you could tell I'm pushing my neighborhood. With that in mind, keep in mind it's New York City. When you're on the subway, just pay attention. Don't be on your phone the whole time. Just be aware of what's going on because anything can happen anywhere, regardless of where you are. So I think that's important to keep in mind now that we're talking about safety. Spaciousness, my apartment's super spacious. I guarantee I have the biggest apartment out of everyone on this in this room. No doubt about it. And the food in Astoria, I mean, that area is highly diverse ethnically. So you have a lot of Greek food, a lot of Hispanic food, a lot of Asian food. You're not too far from Flushing, where I would say the best Asian food is at. I mean, you're super close to that. So if that's what you're into, it's a good area to live for that. And a good thing about my neighborhood is like the price of groceries. Like I have a lot of options. I kind of buy my groceries day to day. I go to my supermarket. I see the same lady who sells me avocados that are really cheap compared to buying them here in the city. So like all those things are important to keep in mind because it's not just the rent you're paying, but the things that come along with the neighborhood you're living in. Um, Good things to do. I mean, we have parks in Astoria. They're kind of nice too. They're on the water. And yeah, uh, I could live in Astoria or somewhere in Queens. Huh? Huh? Any con? I guess the only con I would say is like I like studying here at SUNY. I don't really study at home. And the only con I could say is that on the weekends the trains take longer. So maybe instead of 25 minutes, it'll take me 45 because the trains run every 15 instead of every like 5 minutes. But besides that, I mean, I love Astoria. It's really nice.
All right. Thank you, guys. The next burning question is, how did you find your roommates? And do you have any advice?
Yeah, I think I alluded to this before. SUNY has that some form that they send you. There's so many forms they send you, but one of them is like for housing stuff. And they kind of like update you. Like there's this roommate in third year who is has this apartment, they pay this much. And he's this guy from Iowa. He's my current roommate. And I kind of went to his house. I was like, oh, this apartment's pretty sick. And he was like, yeah, would you like to live here? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, oh, cool. And then that was it. And he's like very easygoing guy too. So I was like, all right. And he turned out to be a great roommate. Kind of got lucky. But yeah, there's benefits to having SUNY and non-SUNY roommates. I'm sure Brooks can talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I have two non-SUNY roommates. I'd say definitely utilize the housing committee and all the resources they have to offer. Um, I don't think I have too much more to add unless anyone has questions.
I live with two SUNY students. I think I'm the only one on this panel that lives with SUNY students, but I feel like a lot of people do live with SUNY students. So this is like not a good representation of that. But so I'm a second year. So we've been living together for 2 years now. We found each other through like the housing questionnaire. We were just like basically stalking the sheet, and we were like, oh my God, I think we'd be a good fit. And I honestly love living with other SUNY students because it's like we're all in the same boat and like we're all going through the same thing. We like commute together in the morning, we go home together at the end of the day. Me and one of my roommates have been in like the same lab section all 4 semesters, which is like unheard of. I know. With Eden, which is really nice. And yeah, I like feel very lucky to be living with them, especially because like the SUNY Housing Committee put us together. I had really bad roommates all throughout undergrad, so I'm like very happy to have them now in optometry school. It's like just having like another support system.
Yeah, so on the contrary, I live with 2 roommates from college, and I really do like living with people who aren't in SUNY also. I mean, I wouldn't hate living with my friends from SUNY, but we do spend like probably like every single minute together if we're in the same lab section, especially. So when I go home, I do have something to talk about to my roommates because I'm not with them all the time. And I know people are like worried, like, oh, like, do you feel like left out? Like they have money and like you don't, or like they're going out and like you can't. And it's like, no, like, I don't know. It like didn't, I thought it would bother me more than it does, but yeah, I kind of like it. There's always like something new to talk about. Like even if I didn't like go out that night, like I enjoy the morning recap in the morning anyways, and like stuff like that. And they have money, like I don't, whatever. One day I will.
Yeah, I'm just gonna echo that really. It is nice to get out of like the SUNY bubble sometimes where you're like just feeling overwhelmed. But like on the flip side of that, like sometimes I just like neglect my responsibilities because my friends are like, do you actually have to study for this test like next week? I'm like, yeah, I do. But yeah, it is nice to like talk to other people that aren't in class with you like 50 hours a week, but they don't really understand exactly what you're going through. I will say, I'm not really saying, I keep talking in circles. I'm like pros and cons, everything. I will say like living with non-SUNY students, it is like a little bit of a slippery slope, but that's just like self-control, just like everything else. So it's just like, I just have to come to school. Once I'm at school, you stay here till 5, then you're good to go. You know what I mean? You just have to take care of your business.
Great. I will say, don't be afraid to kind of like reach out to people in class. Because for me, I found one of my roommates just by like DMing her on like Instagram, because I know like nowadays we all have Instagrams and things, and we just kind of connected through that. So one tip, don't be afraid to kind of reach out and then see where things go. So the next question we have is describe the process of how you toured, found, and moved into your current apartment.
So this was mentioned earlier. I use Street Easy. Everyone on Street Easy is a scammer. Like they are photoshopping images of couches into their apartments and making it look big. It's not true. So you have to go see these apartments. Like you really have to go. Somebody has to go see this, like the apartment that you're gonna live in, because they'll show you an apartment in the building and then be like, well, here's yours, and it's way smaller than the one I showed you. So, but other than that, it was honestly not that bad. We got lucky. This building had like a fire in it last year, and then they were redoing it. They redo it top to bottom. So we were like one of the first people to move into like the redone apartment. I didn't use a broker. I think, did they get rid of brokers' fees in New York? I don't know. I know it's.
I think they're going to get, in June.
Yeah, so you guys might miss all of that, which is another scam. But we didn't use a broker. We just found it on Street Easy. I went and toured it, and then we signed it like 2 days later. That's the only thing is like it's kind of tough to like look for apartments now. I mean, it's worth it just to like see what you want and like see price ranges looking at it now, but you have to really move on stuff quick once you find the one that you want. At least in East Village, I don't know what's going on in Astoria. Sounds like they're handing out apartments. And I think that's all I have to say. Yeah, and then it was quick. The only thing, yeah. Mine was not. So I got, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but mine's not. Yeah, I'm going to say probably no. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, John actually got paid to move in. Moving was a little brutal because it was on the 6th floor. So like I brought my couch from my basement at home and had to like almost killed my dad on the way up the steps. But and that's why we re-signed. We're like, well, we're not going to carry all this stuff down, so we'll just re-sign our lease. But other than that, it's fine. Yeah, we just like drove a pickup truck. It took us like 3 hours, moved everything in, and then it's fine. That's it.
Yeah, I also use Street Easy. My lease started in like July because one of my roommates was starting work like earlier, and I was here in like for like a week in June, like the middle of June, like staying with my brother, and me, my mom, and my one of my roommates like literally just like signed up for like a bunch of Street Easy tours, like rapid fire in like 3 days until we like found one, and then like literally signed immediately. That's pretty much what you have to do. And yeah, like definitely see it in person because you're not going to pretty much get anything from the pictures they put online. They put like AI like beds in there and you're like, what size bed even is that? And like lamps and stuff. But yeah, like you move like really quickly once you find one that you like. And they won't like even list them until they're like ready to sign for them in like the next couple weeks. So it's like really a quick turnaround. So like don't get stressed if you're like, "Oh my God, it's July and I like don't have an apartment yet." Like that's pretty much standard. Yeah, was not furnished. We recently just got a new couch and like carried it from like 39th and 1st to like 36th and 3rd like through the street. That was fun. Yeah, it was kind of an experience. Felt really like New York. Um yeah, that's pretty much what we did. Anything else?
So I'm from upstate New York, and one of my other roommates is also upstate New York, and then the third one was from Southern California. Like all three of us were like, we all need to see the apartment in person, like before we move in. Like I don't want to like see a picture of something and then like live there for an entire year. Like it was very important to us that all three of us like see every single apartment in person. So we picked like the first weekend in July. The California roommate flew out, and then we just like booked apartments back to back to back for like an entire weekend and just like toured them all. And it was terrible. It was so hot. Yeah, it was like 100 degrees. It's like we also like didn't organize our time. I would say if I could redo it, I would definitely like group your apartments by like neighborhood. We were running from like the Upper East Side to like Midtown to like Murray Hill to back to the Upper East Side, like to downtown, like just like going everywhere. Like we took the subway like 20 million times and we hadn't figured out the subway by then, so it was a mess. But just like I would recommend like kind of like gathering like a spreadsheet and just like trying to organize like the apartments that you want to tour. Oh, I didn't say this. I use Street Easy too. I feel like Street Easy is the best website to use. No, I don't. It's not a scam. Like, I mean, yeah, I mean, but once you see it in person, you're like, okay, like it kind of looks like the pictures. But yeah, so we toured for an entire weekend. Toured the apartment that I currently live in now, literally on the last day on a Sunday. Like it was like one of the last apartments we saw, and we like fell in love with it, applied to it the next day, like heard back the next day after that, and then like got accepted. And then we moved in like 3 weeks after that, end of July. So it was pretty seamless after that. It was just a really hot weekend of like running around New York City. And then moving in, I also live on the 5th floor walk up. I just like ordered all my furniture off of IKEA, and they do like in apartment delivery. So like the IKEA people brought like my bed upstairs, brought like our like table and like my desk. Like I didn't have to do any heavy lifting because the IKEA people did it, which is really nice. But yeah, I think that's it.
So I had a pretty crazy experience. My roommate is very picky. So we saw probably about 40 places, and then you will not see 40 places. But I think the biggest problem and the biggest regret was we didn't know exactly where we wanted to live. So just like Annabelle, we were running up and down, and then we ended up getting a broker. But the thing that we never considered is that a lot of these apartments were not going to work for us. She has an 80-pound oversized English bulldog, and most apartments in New York are 50. I think our apartment's 50, but we just lied. So there's that. But so Midtown wasn't going to work. There's no park. There's no really a good park there. So we really were. So I'd say my regret and what I would want to do is, organize, look around, organize where you want to live, and then, then take your Street Easy app and really focus in on that area. You can do things like no broker's fee, which I don't think you guys have to worry about. You can do max rent, things like that, and it's really, really easy. So I use Street Easy and Rent Hop. Yes, the pictures were a scam sometimes, but then just go see the place. So yeah, I did end up using a broker. It was a crazy experience. It was very New York. She's a TikToker at the same time. So she was TikToking all 40 apartments. She was loving it. So she was having a great time doing that. As long as she kept saying, like, as long as you sign with me, I don't care if how many apartments we see. So she TikToked the whole thing, and she comes over and plays that game for game night all the time. So she's one of our friends now. So it's really New York. And the only thing that's really New York that I didn't like is that right off the bat we had a 18,000 on the table fee for first and last month of rent and the broker fee, which was like the highest percentage. So I don't think you'll have to deal with that. So that's something you don't have to worry about. But yeah, organize where you want to live. If you have an 80-pound bulldog, don't consider Midtown. It won't work. So don't even look at apartments there. And he's a big boy. But not fat. I can't say that. Yeah. And the last thing I'll say is when you look for apartments in New York, you're going to be looking 2 weeks before. That's normal. We looked maybe a week and a half before. We said we're not leaving New York City till we found one. We set our move-in date to August 1st. We only looked at August 1st. We only looked at Dogs Allowed, and we only started looking in the Upper West Side and the Upper East Side. And then we finally started to make headway. And yeah. Yeah, and apartments come up every day on Street Easy, and a lot of them are going to be immediate. So don't feel stressed out if it's a week. Well, maybe a week's crazy, but maybe like a week and a half. A week is probably fine. You'll sign, and they'll get the paperwork to you, and then you'll move in. I moved in within 3 days. We bought a U-Haul on the street right there, and we were cheap with the moving company. So we were cheap with the moving company. There were just two dudes, and they 4-floor walk-ups. They brought it out of the truck, and I brought it all the way up. So I felt like they should have paid me too, but that's fine. And my roommate just stood there, and she demanded what we do. So, but we made it work.
All right, I think everyone kind of covered everything. I just wanted to say two things. One thing was when you go to the apartment that you're touring, I think what's undervalued is meeting the landlord. In my apartment currently, I met the landlord when I toured the apartment, and this guy lived in the house. And that's, I think, rare that the person he's like a family man. So I got to get a feeling like, okay, this guy is going to care about the apartment. If I have any questions, he lives right below me. And if anything happens in the apartment, I run down to him, and it's his house. So he's interested in making sure that there's no roaches, there's no mice. Like, he cares about his house. And that's a really big con if you're looking at an apartment and you know that the person that is the landlord is living in the house. And that's kind of hard to find, I think. And the second thing was, yeah, just make sure you tour the apartment. I didn't do much of that this time around because I kind of just saw this one. I was like, this is good. But when I lived in Brooklyn, I did that. Like, it looks good. The location's fine. You go there and it's next to a fish market and the house smells like fish. And you're like, ah. Actually, I have a classmate I came over to his house. I'm like, your house smells terrible. He definitely didn't see it beforehand. But yeah, pro of living in like a family-oriented neighborhood is that you have more chance to, because I bet you a lot of them, you guys pay like through an app, right? You guys, they pay through a company, and like they never see anyone who comes to them to help them. It's kind of different. I mean, it has its pros and cons, but I think that's a pro because anything that's wrong, I have the guy in the house and he cares about his house. So oftentimes I lived in an apartment where I'd pay online, and sometimes they do get back to you, sometimes they don't. So there's that too. You have a question? Yeah.
Yeah, so most people are going to have their leases ending like in July. So we're basically just going to create a document that we'll send out via email and Slack, and we'll just update it every single week. I think we've already sent out a few people that are looking on Slack for like June move-ins, but there's people that have openings or people that are just looking to turn over their apartment that you can just keep an eye out for that on Slack. All right, can we? So most of them are gonna graduate in May, but a lot of people like stay in the city since you don't get your license for like 3 months after until like their lease ends in July. Yeah. Great. Can we get a big applause for our wonderful panelists? You guys have any last words of wisdom?
Just stories, okay. You guys know it.
All right.
Any questions, just ask me.
Just to wrap up, here's a general timeline that we're looking at. Right now, again, you just want to get familiar with the process, where you want to live, figure out your budget, your preferences, and start talking to potential roommates. Like Vidi said, don't be afraid to reach out to people. Everyone's looking for a roommate at SUNY, so definitely do that. And in late June, you'll want to start getting your documents ready to start looking at the market to get an idea. In July, you'll start touring apartments so that you can move in August. And I just want to say, pay attention to Slack. We again will be sharing some pictures of our apartments so you guys can get an idea of what apartments we live in and how much we pay. And we'll also again be sending those openings from current students as they come to us. And overall, this process can be really scary, but it's doable. We all did it here. Any student from out of area has done it. Just be prepared, put in the work touring apartments in July, and the housing committee is always here to help if you guys have any questions or concerns. But with that said, we have a few minutes if anyone has any last questions for our panel. Yep.
Any other tips for people from Canada? I came this far.
No, that's true. So I think just coming here and like touring apartments was really difficult because I could only come here like so many times. So it was really helpful to kind of find someone who kind of lives in close like proximity. So if you know anyone, like your uncles, aunts, like it could be like your friends or like people who are just around here, I would get them to come and tour. I did try to reach out to see if like we can do like virtual tours, but I don't recommend that because my friend got scammed and it's like I think they used like the 0.5 lens pictures on their camera, and when she moved in it's like wow, like she doesn't even have a window. She like it's like a very small space for the price point. So again, I would definitely come in person to tour, but for like us Canadians, it's like really hard to do that. I would also recommend just like maybe setting aside 1 week to just kind of like come and tour as many places as you can closer to like August. I think that'd be something that I would probably recommend for us. And then again, like it's really hard to kind of get leases under our names because we don't really have any proof of income here. So just like finding roommates who are, I guess, potentially like from here, like around here is like definitely something that's like really helpful. Yeah.
So do you have your individual lease with the apartment or sort of one person's name on the lease? And then you all basically paid afterwards.
Yeah, mine and my roommate's name is on our lease, and then we both have our dads as our guarantors.
If you want to switch your residency to New York, and what you can do your second year, you need to have your name on the lease. It has to be on the lease. So mine's on the lease. I think all of our names.
And that's to get
Yeah.
the state tuition if you're from out of state.
For sure, no. Well, yes, it needs to be on the lease.
Yeah, so my California roommate, all three of us, our names are on the lease, plus like one of our parents are also on the lease for like the guarantor aspect. But she was obviously out of state her first year, and then she just applied for in-state residency this past summer, and then like got like a New York State ID, and now qualifies for in-state tuition, which is super nice. But in order for her to do that, she had to have, yeah. In order to do that, you need your name to be on the lease so that you can like apply for like a New York State ID and like get like your address changed and all of that. But
No, yeah, same. All of our names are on the lease, and all of our parents' names are also on the lease.
Yeah, my name is on the lease. Both my roommates have jobs, and I just like told the guy that I was going to school, and he was like, all right. So I didn't have a guarantor or anything, so I don't know if that was sketchy or not, but my name is on the lease. Yeah. Yeah, your name should be on the lease. Try to get it on there. No, it's just like one like 50-page file, and you just like e-sign it, and then it just has all your names on each thing. I do have a bike. It's like a pedal, like old Cannondale. Like it's nice. I like it. But it's like yeah. This I mean a lot of people city bike and like I don't even know how they do it. Amazon like is delivering everything on bikes now. So there's like a biking subculture. So it is like a little dangerous because people are just insane in their cars, but there's like never been a time where I'm in the bike lane and there's not like 10 other people in the bike lane with me. So it's like everyone is biking, so it's not unsafe. I wear a helmet though. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, don't get like hit by a biker. Like, don't step in the bike lane. Beware.
It's not.
Yeah.
All right, any last questions? What is any other suggestions for getting furniture?
Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, Facebook Marketplace and eBay and Craigslist for furniture. Like everything in my apartment except for my mattress is secondhand.
Yeah, Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, I found all my furniture on Facebook Marketplace and it was all really cheap and super nice.
I found some of the coolest furniture right on the street when people were moving out. Now, listen. If you see some of the tables in my house, you'd be like, this came from like what Fifth Ave store did this came from? It came from the street of the Upper East Side people that were moving out. Is that not true? It's very true. And I mean, I would never a mattress, I would never get a couch maybe, but like furniture, like tables, chairs, you clean it, it's yours, it's new, it's whatever. I mean, if you have the money, I know you guys are all students, gonna be soon. So
All right,
I
great.
disagree.
So that concludes.
I used two dudes in a truck.
Emily.
Yeah. I just hired them off of like I think my roommate hired them off of Craigslist, and I trusted it. They just didn't do much, but that you get what you pay for, and that's what basically. Yeah. Anyone use movers? Yeah.
There's an app called TaskRabbit, which is pretty great. You can hire someone to do like literally anything. It's kind of insane. But it's not a scam. It's like the nicest dude shows up and does all like I had to yeah, your TV, we got a TV hang. I mounted my bike on my wall with TaskRabbit. And a lot of buildings, if you have an AC unit, like a window AC unit, there's like a bunch of regulations so it doesn't fall on people. And a TaskRabbit dude came to do that. So TaskRabbit's pretty awesome.
Mhm.
Yes, yes. TaskRabbit will literally do anything.
All right, so that concludes our housing panel. And I just wanted to emphasize again, if you guys have any questions, reach out on Slack or email to the housing committee email. We're here for you guys. We want you to find the best apartments with no trouble. So good luck with the rest of your day. Congrats.
Thank you all so much. Great job.
Thank you.
Make sure you fill out the housing questionnaire because I'm still missing like 15 people. So fill it out.
Thank you.
And congratulations on getting accepted.